So the protest that was hanging out at Cesar Chavez are now headed towards the Capitol. Not sure what the plan is. There was a alternate ally protest over there to the right, the physicians against racism, and now we've got the main Black Lives Matter group moving down this direction on a unscheduled protest or unscheduled rally or walk around the Capitol. So there's no Sacramento police presence on the streets at this area at this point. There's a heavy police presence around the Capitol. CHP are guarding it, as been the normal case. The new change since in the last 2 days, the National Guard are now deployed at state buildings around the Capitol with 2 or 3 guards per entrance.
Don't shoot! Don't shoot! Don't shoot!
I don't know, I'm pretty sure.
Hey, we got Philip Reese watching. We got Amy Chance watching. Thanks for checking us out. You're listening to Ed Fletcher, longtime reporter, now doing some independent journalism, giving you a little analysis and trying to give you a look at what's happening on the front lines as these protesters demand justice for George Floyd. I don't have an estimate of the crowd size yet. I was at the physicians rally. That rally was probably 300 or 400 people there. And then the main Black Lives Matter rally just converged from Cesar Chavez and are now on a lap or walkabout. We'll see where it goes.
I mean, Tommy.
No justice! No peace! 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 No justice! No peace!
The physicians rally was the first major rally by an ally that I know about. Pretty good group, but mostly doctors and people in the medical professionals wearing their lab coats. Masks were required to participate in that rally, and they tried to practice social distancing.
No peace! No peace! No peace! No peace! No peace! No peace! No peace!
No justice!
No peace!
No racist!
Police!
No justice!
No peace!
No racist!
Thank you.
Thank you.
The one thing the group has is water. That's a good thing on today. I don't know what. Is it 100 degrees?
Something around there.
Gonna be a lot of sunburns today. I feel that coming.
Definitely.
Not me, mostly you.
A little bit more susceptible.
As the days have gone on, you've seen more and more support people that have sort of created a job for themselves, whether that's handing out water, like this group here. There's groups of people that are collecting money and bringing pizzas out to the people. Keeps pizza businesses alive and keeps the protest moving. I wouldn't say they're super organized, but becoming more organized as the days go on here. So it looks like they're heading to the east steps of the Capitol, where there will be probably a couple hundred sheriff's deputies waiting.
George Floyd!
Say his name!
George Floyd!
What's his name?
George Floyd!
What's her name?
Breonna Taylor!
What's her name?
Breonna Taylor!
Say that name again!
Senator Bland.
What do we want?
Justice!
What do we want?
Now!
What do we want?
Justice!
What do we want?
Now!
If we don't get it,
Shut it down!
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 Don't stop the revolution!
Thank you.
Don't stop the revolution!
As you can see, it's a pretty multicultural group out here. Black, brown, yellow, other, and white. Mostly young, although the physicians group was significantly older. One of the things I've observed so far is the lack of participation from the traditional protest leaders, religious community, etc., etc. I don't know how much that COVID-19 has to do with that, or it's a lack of relationship between Black Lives Matter and some of the other older established groups.
Who do you protect? 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 No peace. No peace. No peace. Police. No peace. Police. No peace. Police. No peace.
This is one of the things you've seen is them challenging the law enforcement to offer a symbol of solidarity by taking a knee. but I guess the crowd will all take a knee, and we'll see if the law enforcement will dissipate. You've seen some law enforcement scattered, the LA sheriff and a few others that have made a show by taking a knee and expressing some solidarity with the protesters.
Take a knee! 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 Take a knee!
All right, so rather than the commander there telling them to de-escalate, this guy is telling him to put their visors down and to prepare for more engagement. We'll see if they change their stance. Yesterday or some other days, they actually brought the CHP officers to the front of these gates here and brought more to this area. That only results in more agitation, perhaps, when they're in direct range of the protesters. Perhaps they told them to put their masks down to prevent them from getting COVID. You're welcome, Michael. Thanks, Erica. I will try to keep it safe. Thank you. Hey, Anna's here.
George Floyd!
If you're just joining us, you're listening to Ed Fletcher. We're in Sacramento, California, as the Black Lives Matter protest asking for justice for George Floyd has moved to the east steps of the Capitol and are engaging with the officers. There is a simultaneous protest that's happening on the other side of the Capitol now. The white coats against racism, medical professionals rallying on the other side of the Capitol, on the Capitol Mall. That group was probably 300 people.
George Floyd!
This not for sensitive ears. This chant "Fuck Donald Trump" was one of the more popular ones yesterday. It was the nightcap to a beautiful evening. If you saw my video from Cesar Chavez yesterday, you'll know that there's more speechifying and other kind of building or community building at the park, and over here is a little more kind of chant fest as they try to express themselves and to vent their anger and frustration. But as Stefante Clark has brought up yesterday, and Stefante has emerged as one of the leaders of this effort just by his personality and who he is, and energy and pain. But they talked about recalling DA Anne-Marie Schubert. They talked about electing a sheriff that is more progressive, and about trying to get system change up and down the line. So at least some of them are talking about what happens after this, but others of them just want to keep the pressure on law enforcement or the government to respond. If you've been following the news today, the state of Minnesota announced a Justice Department investigation into the Minneapolis Police Department. That is some progress on one front, but there's more to be done, and we'll see how this goes once they try to implement it. You watched the Gavin Newsom conversation with Stefante. That to me was very positive, as they look for common ground, and at least it seems like you have a governor that is listening to what's going on and responding accordingly. The crowd now, it looks like they're heading back to Cesar Chavez. Trying to get a guesstimate of the crowd size as I let them go by here. But at this point, I'd guess 2,000 or more people out here at the Capitol, heading back to Cesar Chavez as we speak. For many people out here, this is a redo of what we saw during the Stephon Clark protests. The protesters blocked down freeways, agitated, had rallies for days on end, and ultimately did not see the officers involved in that police shooting arrested or indicted. And they feel like they've got something to make up for, and they want to achieve that unfulfilled gain and the change they've been seeking. You can take a look at all the signs as everybody goes by here. Thank you for liking and sharing this. You're listening to Ed Fletcher. We're in Sacramento, California. I was a longtime reporter in town. Also did a lot of video for the newspaper, and operating as an independent journalist now. I'm trying to get you a front row view at what's happening here, but also a little bit of my insight and analysis.
Silence is betrayal! 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 Silence is betrayal!
So most of them have pulled out now, heading back to Cesar Chavez, and we will follow along.
My fourth day in a row. I don't know how much more I can be doing.
Yeah, legs getting tired. How late were you out here last night too?
I was only out here until only out there until the curfew. So.
Next destination?
I think it's right back to Cesar Chavez.
Back to Cesar today.
Yeah. I was a little impressed with Stefante yesterday.
Yeah.
He was a little more on the ball than
No peace!
Yeah.
a couple years ago.
No
A
peace!
couple years ago, I mean, it's
No
hard to
peace!
judge, but yeah, he's definitely
No peace!
he's got some leadership skills. And,
Did you see
I mean,
the?
Sacramento doesn't really have. I mean, there's not a lot of black people that really speak out, figures in this.
Well, they're all quiet.
Yeah,
Where's the Urban League?
exactly.
I don't know exactly what happened, but it doesn't feel like there's a bridge between them and Black Lives Matter.
Right.
That it's like, let the kids do the kids things and the adults do the adulting. A little bit of a traffic jam here as the crowd pushes through this narrow opening. All of the Capitol grounds were fortified probably a decade ago when a big rig tried to run into the Capitol and started a fire. So there are gates and barricades everywhere. So the crowd is just kind of pouring through this opening, and I think they're heading back to Cesar Chavez. So it looks like some of the physicians left at their event and joined here. As their information indicated, they intend to leave before the curfew begins, and we will see what is the will with this group with respect to the curfew. Yesterday, the city installed a 8 p.m. curfew, and which allows them to clear the streets and make arrests after that time. The crowd was out last night till about 9 o'clock, marched around, did some chanting, a lot of good unity building, and then departed relatively without incident. There were a few people that didn't want to heed the leader's call to head home, and I believe there were dozens of arrested. I think maybe 40 might have been the number I heard. Hey, what's up, Karen? One thing we haven't really seen is the impact on traffic this time around. During the Stephon Clark protests, it was often at rush hour, and they would interrupt the flow of traffic as people tried to leave downtown, and that often resulted in some tension between the protesters. So in this case, with the pandemic, there's very little downtown traffic. So there's not a lot of people to be pissed off. Very different from a couple years ago when you had lots of motorists that were sometimes clashing with the protesters. And that was their chief concern, getting home and not being in the traffic. Woo! We're coming up on K Street here in downtown Sacramento. K Street is bracketed by the Golden One Center and the Convention Center. Won't be able to see them that well from here, but down that way is the arena, and Convention Center is that way.
No peace! No peace! No peace! No peace! No peace! No peace! No peace!
This time around, seems like most of the cars seem to be joining in the protest with their horn. So we're turning here on J Street. You can see the deli mart there is all boarded up. That's one of the many businesses that were looted down J Street. You had businesses all up and down there, glass. Here's some of the murals in downtown. Some of those courtesy of wide open walls. Don't destroy, demonstrate, says the panel here. Been a lot of talk about who precisely was the ones breaking the windows. I can say it doesn't seem like it was the will of the group, but you always have some agitators, some people who like to break some shit, and the very real possibility that there were agent provocateurs or people with other agendas that were attempting to fuel the fire or to take advantage of the situation. We've seen stories about boxes of bricks being delivered to urban areas. I don't know that that was the case in Sacramento, but I wasn't there at that time, and it's hard to say exactly what happened. I like how these motorists are being safe and they're just chilling out till the crowd passes by. That's smart there. Yep. So if you park by, put a sign in your window that says you're part of the protest, and hope that some stupid knucklehead doesn't break your window. There were stories about protesters who had their windows broken, which sounds like a cruel experience. So we're arriving here at Cesar Chavez Park in downtown Sacramento, adjacent to City Hall. All right, we got Bikini Girl for against racism.
Apparently my neighbors are talking.
George Floyd! 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 No peace! Police! 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 No peace! Police!
Yeah, I was having some issues with my phone overheating at the physicians rally. I did get some of that on video and hear from a few of them. They got a mic.
Tell everybody. Put your hands up. Put your hands up.
Over there.
Come over here. Today, keep your hands in the air. Today is a new day. Today is hard day. This is not a pity party. This is not a pity party. This is right against wrong. Listen, it's nothing but injustice. That's in our building. My name, my birth name is Just Us. My mom named me Just Us. My brown brothers and sisters, my white brothers and sisters, my black brothers and sisters, and I'm gonna really hit you with this one, our green brothers and sisters. This is not one man's world. This is not your world. This is it's one creator. White people, cut yourself. Mexicans, cut yourself. All nationalities, cut yourself right now. And right now, we will all bleed the same color. I said, all white people, cut yourself. All Mexicans, cut yourself. And all nationalities, cut yourself. And pour your blood right here, and we will bleed the same color. We are all right now here today. We are soldiers of God. We are soldiers of God.
Amen.
Hold on now. No, I want y'all to say that. Why should I be saying that? We are the soldiers of who?
God.
You are the soldiers of who?
God.
You are the soldiers of who?
God.
Who's the creator of this world?
God.
Who's the creator of this world?
God.
Who runs this world?
God.
Who runs this world?
God.
Who runs this world?
God.
Right now, guess what? God's children are here right now. God's children are here right now. You don't know that, brother. You don't know that, sister. You probably crossed each other, crossing paths on the street. And witnessing nothing to each other. to. We have been forced into togetherness.
Now we're so violent.
We have been forced into togetherness. So, together we stand. Together we stand.
United!
What do you say?
Together!
We stand united!
Together! We stand united! Together we stand united! Together we stand united!
We stand united!
How many police assistants right now that has been murdered by the hands of this government?
Too fucking many!
I'm saying, how many of us have been a victim? Our family members have been a victim of this government murder.
Too fucking many!
We are tired. We're tired. I am tired. This is not a pity party. This is not a game. This is not a game, so if you're out here for the wrong reasons,
Say that louder.
get on the other side.
For real.
Get on the other side.
I'll join them.
We're here for a reason. God has brought us here for a reason, y'all. Everybody here has a gift from God Almighty. Use your powers, your natural being powers, like you are doing right now, and come together and love one another. I love you, baby. I love you. Listen. The only way it's going to change is that we make it change. We are in control of this world. Shut this shit down. Shut this shit down.
Shut it down!
This is about our children, our lives. This is about our lives of human kind, human beings. Come on now. It's not hard. Y'all hear me? I said, it's not hard. It's very simple. Say it.
It's very simple!
It's very simple.
It's very simple!
All you have to do is hold each and every one of them. I don't care who you are. Put your hands in the air. I want to see your hands down.
Crazy.
Well, if your hands down, you want to go to the other side. That means this ain't your party. You went to the wrong party. You went to the wrong party.
Hallelujah.
I want everybody right now to say,
We are one.
We are one.
I don't hear y'all.
We are one. 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 We are one.
We are one!
If you want to reach me, just get on the social media. If you want? Just, you want some? You sure? Okay, come on. Just the party starter. Because this is the party right now. Come on, y'all didn't hear me. This is the party right now. This ain't one of them political parties. This is a God's party.
Amen.
This is God's party right here. Each and every one of us, created by God Almighty, and you are here at the party. Right now, you are representing. Hug your children. Hug your children. Hug people you don't know. Tell them it's going to be okay. You never know what they are going through right now. You never know what they're going through right now. Just by saying, hey, to a stranger, hey, how you doing? Are you okay? Do you know how powerful that is? Y'all don't hear me.
Hey, y'all!
We are trapped and we are brainwashed with this technology.
Yes.
That was a trap. For everybody right now here, everybody, every day in your daily life, when you're walking on the street, asking people, what are they on? What are they doing? On their phones. Don't even look a person in the eye. Don't even know who's who. That is to break us apart. To keep us from doing this right here. From doing this right here. This is all a setup. And we fell right into it. Not no more. But not no more. We are strong. We are strong. Oh my goodness. We are strong. It's just us. Who are we?
Just us!
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 God bless the world. God bless America. This ain't about America. God bless the world. To my Chinese brothers out there that's been going through it for all your years. To my Arabic brothers out there that's been going out there and suffering through all your years. To my Mexican brothers out there. We've been going through it all these years. And we still going through it. To my black brothers out there. Excuse me, let me correct myself. To my brothers and sisters. Okay? To my brothers and sisters. And to my queens out there. To you queens out there. You queens out there. so much. I thank you so much, ladies, for everything that you have been through and everything that you are going through. We are sorry. We are sorry. Sorry for putting you guys through this, ladies. So sorry. Okay? We thank you. You are our strength. You are our strength. Y'all hear me? Without you, there is no us. I want y'all to say it. Without you, there is no us. Without you, there is no us. Without you, there is no us. Point to a lady and say it. Go ahead. Without you, there is no us. Without you, there is no us. Without you, there is no us.
on Sunday.
I thought she was saying tea.
All right. We're going to take a little break for now, but thanks for checking us out. I will fire us back up if we need to, but we're live at Cesar Chavez Park in Sacramento, California for a
They just
Black Lives
want
Matter
power!
protest.